Hi all, in today's video I'll be talking about how to increase your productivity and achieve your most ambitious goals. My name is Anna at Migrant Dr. Mami. Thank you so much for having me. Sit back and just listen in. Today's video is geared towards somebody that's been hoping to increase their efficiency in whatever it is they're doing. People that are setting out to do some goals that are seeming unsurmountable, goals that, or even just, ideas that they have in their minds. They're not really sure whether to get along with it, how to do it, and just generally, if you have that idea in your mind or that goal that you've set out to do, this video is for you. And so I'll be talking about how you can ensure that you've been able to be quite efficient, be productive in whatever it is that you're doing, and eventually see that your dream or your goal has been achieved. So yeah, thank you. In my first tip on how to do this is just essentially identify what your goal is. And when I talk about a goal or what you want to do, is just essentially that picture that you have in your mind. Say you're hoping that in a couple of years you'll be able to have done 1, 2, 3, or in a couple of months you'd have moved your business from this point to that point. It could be, in your area of, sporting. It could be in your career. It could be in, your goals or of just, being a parent and stuff like that. So we all have that something within us, that desire within us to be able to move ourselves from point A to point B, where point B obviously is a point that is a little bit better or more elevated compared to where you are at the moment. So identify what your goal is, and in doing so, I have found it's quite important to acknowledge where you are, because before you move to point A to point B, you need to realize, where am I? Am I comfortable in that position that I am in? Am I comfortable with the way things have been going? Am I comfortable in my parenting? Am I comfortable in my career? Or do I want to push myself to something greater, something better? Are you hoping to, just generally to change circumstances, move yourself from that status quo and move towards something completely different? So acknowledging that you're not comfortable where you are, acknowledging that you want to move to a completely different area, or better still, just improve yourself from where you are. This rings a big bell for me, because at some point when I wanted to start this journey of living overseas, I got to a point where I felt uncomfortable with where I was, and I was, just essentially saying that I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more for myself. I want a little bit more for my kids. And generally, I want a little bit more for my family. So identify where you are. See if you're comfortable. If you're comfortable, then well and good. But if you are thinking either you're comfortable but you want something different or something additional, then identifying what is that something additional that you are setting out to do. And sometimes when I talk to people, they're like, I don't even know my goals. I don't even know my passions. I don't even know where I want to be and stuff like that. And I totally understand you. Most of the times, we may not be specific in exactly what we want. We may not be specific in the business idea that we want. We may not really be specific in what we intend to achieve in the next 5 years. You may just be wanting to say, I want my financial status to be different in 5 years' time, or at the end of the year. I want, to have shipped myself into this, by exercising. I want this to have happened. So just having a general idea of things, and please don't feel bad if you are not specific about the goal that you want to achieve. My tip number 2 is have a plan. Obviously, a plan for me is just essentially have a mindset or have a direction on where you, or how you will do, or how you will activate your goal, or how you'll activate or do the activities that you'll want to do before you get to the desired goal. And By planning, you have to work with the following things. I have found in the past, for me to plan and do things, I found it doesn't need to be complicated. There are a couple of things that you just need to know. I call them my top three. Is you need to know what your values are, and then you need to know what your non-negotiables and obviously you need to know what your priorities are. So in knowing what your values are, it will anchor you, or it will help you to do things in a certain way, without, if you're not one to cut corners, then obviously, you will need to set this and this in place. You will need to follow some laid out procedures, or laid up things that you will be able to act on. And then obviously, knowing your values will help you be real, and be real to yourself, in that you'll not be doing things that are against what you stand for. Okay. The other thing is the priorities. So you need to know what my priorities are. And with priorities is, your immediate priorities and your long-term priorities. So for you to be able to move from one point to another, and in marking out your plan is, you need to sizable or manageable things that you need to specifically lay down. And for example, let's say, you are sitting your exams, or you're moving to a different country, and your immediate priorities would be doing things like getting your passport ready, getting your good conduct ready, making sure that your paperwork side of things is okay, your yellow fever vaccines and all that. And then obviously planning sort of your finances, in terms of all these things that I've mentioned will need finances. You'll be able to to pay for all this stuff that I've mentioned. And then obviously in the long term, and even still at the immediate priorities is, you need to sort of have an idea, where do I want to go? Because obviously, the world is sort of this big oyster that so you need to sort of decide, where am I, or where is it that, or what company, or what area, or what specialized area am I seeking myself to get into. So very important to mark out, those specific areas that you want to do. And then obviously amongst your priorities is take out things that, come really low on priority list, and definitely work the things that are high priority, is work on those things nice and early before you continue down your list. So very important to know what that is. And then obviously the other thing on when you're mapping up your plan is just note down, what are your non-negotiables? Okay, what is it that you will completely not do to try and reach your goal? Especially if you're looking, like you're in the business space and you're wanting, let's say, a contract, or you're wanting to venture into a certain area, and obviously your values may conflict with what some of the places that you're seeking to sell out your product. And let's say maybe you need to oil some pockets and stuff like that. So you need to ask yourself, or tell yourself, my negotiable is I will not be able to do 1, 2, 3. And obviously there are some things that you may need to reach a compromise on, and say, or maybe one parent needs to move first before the rest of the family moves, or my non-negotiable is I'm not moving without the rest of my family, or something like that. So you as an individual, or as a family, or as a couple, or whatever it is that you're intending to do, need to set out those non-negotiables, things that you definitely will not allow to go through, or things that you will completely not compromise on. That's important when you're setting out your plan. Point number 3 is it is very important for you to be able to reach your goal and to be efficient and productive in whatever you do. You need to avoid the distractions. And distractions come in multiple ways. We get distracted by the people that we love. We get distracted by, people that minimize our goals. We get distracted by so many things around us. We get distracted by social media. You sit down to do your project, your school project, and your Insta is buzzing, your Facebook is there. All those things are very, very good, or very, very common distractors that you need to work on. And when I say this, I'm cognizant of the fact that a lot of the distractors are from within, the negative voices that sometimes, play with your mind, things that tell you you cannot do it, you've tried before, it didn't work. And especially for people that have gone trauma, people that have gone either child trauma, people that have tried and failed before, people that have lost large sums of money doing some activities or some ventures. The voices will most times come back at that point in time when you're daring yourself to do something. You hear the voices that tell you, look, last time you wasted an entire $10,000 for the family. It will tell you that you're not good enough. Venturing out and going back to school at 40, 45 years, you hear the voices within you telling you, oh, I've just been a class of young people. What are people going to say about me? What are, all those voices, all those things that tend to come to discourage you from reaching your goal. And a lot of times I have realized some of the things that I worry about are really, if I tell to someone else, they're like, is that all you're worried about? Because if I were to listen to some of those voices in my head, especially even when I'm putting out content or when I'm sitting down to do a video, I'm like, what are people going to say? What are people, and that can really discourage you from even starting up an initiative, even starting up whatever it is that you want to start. The voices, especially those that are within you, can be very, very loud compared to even those that are external. So you need to be very cognizant of this fact. Be very, very keen to know that that's a negative voice. That's something that's trying to distract me from reaching my goal. And have a way, even if it requires you sorting out your childhood traumas, even if it requires you going through therapy, even if it requires you sitting down and even just finding that which works for you to tell you that, look, Anna, you can do it. Look, others have tried, others have gone through it, they've been successful. And many years down the track, you look back and laugh at yourself and go like, oh, is that what was, look, I made it. So importantly, identify the negative voices that are within you and also those that are outside you. The other thing worth mentioning is another big distraction for me, and I know for a lot of you, is this giant called procrastination. This thing, procrastination, has a way of stalling you. It has a way of making you not reach your goal. And someone may be wondering what procrastination is. It is simply that fact of saying, I'll do it later. I just don't have time for it now. Oh, I'm going to set the entire tomorrow, I'm going to sit down and do it. And when tomorrow comes, you actually don't do it and say, oh, I have a day off coming on Saturday. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to do that form and completely finish it. And you realize eventually when you sit down to do that, it's something that you could have easily done it. And procrastination, if you watch my other YouTube videos, has cost me a job in the past. So I know a lot of times for you to reach your goal, you need to be aware of what, if you have any procrastination traits, how you're going to manage that, how you're going to put up measures, even if it includes you writing a to-do list and following it to the latter and having regular breaks, but just making sure whatever seems like a mountain to you, you're able to, nib at it slowly by slowly. And before you realize it, the mountain is no more. So you have to just start and keep going until eventually you finish what it is that you're doing. Do not allow procrastination to distract you from reaching your goals, because things that you could have easily reached within, days, you may actually eventually reach them, but you'll reach them maybe, let's say, in a year's time. So if you've been intending to, you have this big goal, it may sound extremely big. My advice would be manageable bits, make deposits towards that bigger dream. or that bigger goal. Make small little, deposits, make small, cut away at it slowly by slowly. And before long, before you realize it, you'll be on the other side and you'll be living in your dream. The last point is have the correct mindset. I think mindset is everything. For me, I have found if you have the correct mindset, if you have the correct thought process, if you are able to speak to your mind, there is so much. There is so much that you can achieve. A lot of times, as human beings, we notice our faults more. We notice our weaknesses more than our strengths. And to the point that someone may actually tell you, Anna, you're really good at this. Or you really look good today. But all you'll say, oh, but my shirt is just, $1 shirt, or I have this little pimple here on my face, and somebody has told you have excellent skin, or something like that. A lot of times our natural sort of mode is to go into that sort of, your weakness, highlighting your weakness, highlighting what you can't do, highlighting the fact that for this job there were 200 applicants and only 8 are needed. So you start telling yourself, oh, it's because I went to school overseas, it's because I don't have that and that and that. But you forget to realize that you do have your own strengths. You do have things that you naturally find yourself doing extremely easily, things that other people may not have. And that's why it's very, very important to acknowledge that and sort yourself, analyze yourself, put out your strengths, and obviously use your strengths to reach out for opportunities. And with all putting that in place and with the correct mindset, you realize that you're able actually to achieve your goals. The other thing obviously is I find very, very important to positively speak to yourself. I know people that are into affirmations. I am not like into affirmations every morning like some people, but I have a way of like telling myself, especially when I'm faced with something really big, let's say, I need to do something, I need to go for an interview, something like that. Just simple things like saying, you can do it. You've done it in the past. You're good at what you do. You're giving yourself grace. You're giving yourself an opportunity. Telling yourself, look, I can do it. And when you do that, you will find yourself so positively motivated to the fact that whatever that was hindering you, whatever that was pushing you back, is actually quite manageable at that point. I'm not saying you won't be nervous, or you won't feel the inadequacy settling in, but of course you go forward knowing that, you are, strong, your mind is set out, you are willing to, tackle what is ahead of you and run along with it. The other thing that I've found that it can help you with creating the correct mindset is investing in people that believe in your dream, or investing in people that can help you or keep you accountable towards what you intend to do. Let me just give an example. When I was starting this YouTube channel, I was the most sort of nervous person, because I kept saying, and I only started it because you may have watched my other YouTube video, I just wanted to put out content that would help other doctors come on board. If those who wanted to come to Australia, or people who had migrated and they were finding it hard to settle in, because we did struggle ourselves. So my thought process was like, if I struggled, and look at me now, I've gotten a hang of things, why can I not just help other people who are at that process or at that stage of their lives to realize that it is actually doable, encourage them that it is actually doable. It is hard, but it is doable. And when I was thinking of doing this, and because every time I would go to my inbox and I would respond, and I would take so much time responding to messages and stuff like that, I was like, I'll just put out this message, I'll put it out as content, and people can just watch. And hopefully even those people that are not able to reach me because they don't know me can be able to see this content and use it. So obviously the inadequacies and the voices that come in at that point are like, oh, what are people going to say? What is family going to say, your loved ones, and stuff like that. But I think having the right people around you, people that actually see you taking so much time away, from family to respond and call and do what, people that understand, your journey, people that believe in what you believe in helping other people as well. They are the people that keep me grounded, up to date. People that will say, look, you haven't put out any content in a week's time. They're the people that will tell me, just keep going. This is helping somebody, keep going. People that will text me and say, this is working. So if you surround yourself with people, let's say you're starting a business, people that have done it before, they failed multiple times, but eventually they've done it before. These are the people that are going to speak to your mindset. Get me today somebody that's successful in life that did it once. Put in the comments there for me if you've been reached out for a venture and you've just had positive. The people that are successful today, the people that are most productive today, will actually say, I've tried so many times. There are times that I've invested a lot of money. There are times that I've invested a lot of time. There are times that I've fallen so many times trying to do this stint, but it's not working. There are people that have even had to re-strategize, retrain, change an entire, coastline in doing things to be able to sort of reach that which they want to do. So be encouraged knowing that your goal is completely valid. Your desires are completely valid. Yes, they will take time. Yes, they may have discouragements along the way. And yes, there are people around you that will not even support them whatsoever, including those that are in your inner circle. Just go forth, because before you realize it, you will be living your goal. You will be living and having achieved your goal. You'll look back and be grateful that you made the first initial steps. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this will be helpful, and God bless you.